Turner. I know right before we came on, you were just saying that, where the fuck is Big Dog? How the fuck could he have not come on this show? And I know you're talking shit. You said you weren't going to say it on air, but I have to oust you for
Big
this.
Dog, listen. If you're out there listening at your grand ranch in Blanco that you own, 5,000 acres, cattle, these people don't know. Big fucking ranch in Blanco. I would never say that about you.
That's what you wanted to say.
Never, ever. But I do miss having Big Dog here.
It's
been 2 weeks. We got to get him. We got to get back in there. I know he's busy out there making fucking money.
He's not making money. He's out there sitting around doing fuck off, just sitting there
Dylan, please. Your dad just sits around and makes money, all right? That's what he does.
Yeah, that's what he claims he does, but he's really sitting there on fucking eBay the whole time.
Yeah, well, he just got back from that big ski trip in Aspen, private jet, and his little Puff Daddy jacket that he was wearing, the little marshmallow jacket.
I will say...
He was skiing. He was hitting the slopes, as he said.
I will say, if you, were at our house, on a daily basis, and you saw the amount of fucking packages that come through there, I mean, it is 4 fucking Amazon packages a fucking day.
Well, when we watch football on Sunday, Amazon shows up to your house at least 3 or 4 times a day. And I was always thinking it was probably your mom ordering stuff. And then I just obviously realized that your dad just sits on eBay all day. He does do that. Big Dog does like eBay. He likes a good deal. And they do. There's a lot of deliveries coming from Amazon.
Well, it's eBay, Amazon. He likes Amazon because he can buy something and return it after 30 days.
Yeah, and he likes, having only the finest technology in his golf bag. He'll find illegal clubs, non-illegal clubs.
He's got the little...
He's got the Moonwoods.
He's got the Moonwoods, which are legal clubs, by the way.
Yes.
He's got the little putter that's got the bubble on it, so you put it on there, and it tells you, where the slope is leaning.
He
was complaining about where... He's like, where's my slope reader the other day when we were playing out there? But, we're here, I think this is number 18. We've been doing this for 4 months now. I know. I think we're over 1.5K subscribers. Maybe when we get to 2K. When we get to 2K, we'll give away another jersey. I still got to get Mike Freitas' jersey. Owen got his, but let's talk about yesterday. I mean, we watched.
We gave fucking Owen a jersey?
No, not Owen. Different Owen. Owen Vick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he goes to Smith and Valley. So,
oh, got it.
We would never have given Owen a jersey.
But not the other Owen.
Let's talk Lions. I mean, what must it feel like to be a fucking Lions fan, dude? Just every year, man, it felt like finally something was going to go their way. You get your heart ripped out. That was a brutal thing to watch yesterday.
Yeah. I guess it's probably a relief for them that they actually get to be sad in the playoffs because they're just never there. Right. So it's after getting over the initial just disappointment. But the problem is when you lead a game by 17 points, I mean, that's the real heartbreaking part. If they go there and they just lose the game, say they lose the game by 3 or by 10 or whatever it is, but to be up 17 and lose, and I know everybody's been on the attack of Dan Campbell, my guy. You're Godzilla balls. You're going to go after him.
I am.
The only problem I have with him in that game, looking back on all of it, because he even, right before halftime when we were like, is he crazy enough to go for this? I thought there was a 50-50 shot, but you could tell the hamster wheel in his head was going. He's like, oh, we got to go. This is who we are. This is our identity. And then he just realized, okay, we got to kick it. We got to go up 3 scores. I'm like, okay, he made the right decision there. I know everybody wanted them on the 4th and 3 to kick the field goal to tie the game. I get that. It's been their identity all year to go for it on 4th down. That's what he does.
I hate that.
I know
argument.
you hate it.
I hate that argument.
Well, yeah. Well, I get what you're saying because I've told you too, analytics and stuff only go to a certain point in a game.
It's a one-game sample.
Yes, exactly.
Go to the Super Bowl.
So go to a Super Bowl. But when you've lost, the only reason I don't just kill him for it is because say they were the team, in my opinion, that was behind and is coming all the way back, and that's to tie the game.
Right.
I think you tie the game there. But being a 7-point road underdog, a team that's gone for it all throughout the year, and you blow the lead and your guys are shell-shocked, you kick a field goal, I would still say there's an 80% chance you're going to lose the game.
I agree with you.
Defense was getting absolutely diced up in the second half. He thought, look, we need to get this first down. We need to go up 4. But the big thing, and I know you're going to touch on this, the big thing where I'm just like, you can't do that. You can't run the ball on third down. That's one of the dumbest things.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that was the biggest dumb decision in the game. Like, you can't do that.
Well,
you gotta throw it. And then if you want to run it on fourth down, right? Obviously, he's going to go for it on fourth down. That's what Dan Campbell does. If you want to run it on fourth, by all means, do it. But literally, if you throw an incomplete pass there and run it in, then you kick the ball deep. You have all three timeouts left and a legitimate chance to win the game. So I just think that was the biggest.
That one was the biggest one for you.
Fuck up in my mind. But, Ben Johnson's calling the plays, but he had to okay that
100%.
run. So it's not like Ben Johnson had Dan Campbell had to okay that run, and that was a real bad decision on their part. You can't, there's 0 point of running that ball on third down.
No, I mean, I'm going to come back to that because to me, that wasn't the biggest one, although it was really big. It was huge. I somewhat agree with what you're saying on the first one. Like, I'm sorry, on the second one, where they're down 3. The only reason I don't hate that one, like, if that was the only one,
it wasn't a chip shot field goal either.
But
it was like over. I mean, you would expect him to make it.
But Badgley has actually been okay. Like, people were like talking about, like, well, they don't trust Michael Badgley. Well, then why is he still a fucking kicker there? Because Dan Campbell could have cut him a long time ago, and he's kept this dude. So, in my opinion, that the biggest fuck up to me was the first one. And I'll come back to that. The second one, I agree. The second one, like, to me, the only reason I would have kicked it, is just you hadn't scored. Like, you hadn't scored. You had no. What did San Francisco put up? 27 unanswered. You never stemmed the bleeding, and it wasn't like their offense at that point was humming. Like, they were making mistakes left and right. To me, you kick the field goal, you tie the game, you put the pressure then on Brock Purdy. It's a whole different drive when you're tied versus up 3 there. Like, completely different drive in the NFC Championship game to go to a Super Bowl when you're up 3 versus tied. Like, complete different level of pressure, complete different situation. They're not the defense can play it a little bit differently because the offense is a bit more conservative. If you're tied, you don't want to fuck up as much, get a little tight. But to me, the worst decision of the game, and I do want to talk about the fourth down call, but the worst decision of the game for me was the first fourth down that he went for. Okay,
I'm looking at it now, too.
At that point, there was 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. And I remember thinking this. We were going to get pizza at this time, which, by the way, fucking fucked up our order. We ordered a pepperoni, large pepperoni, pretty fucking simple, and gave us a fucking pineapple pizza, and we didn't notice it until we got home. We had to fucking drive all the way. And then I called fucking...
Devastating news.
Should I mention the name or should I not?
No, because he kind of cleaned it up when he got back in there. And he just told you to take the pizza.
I won't mention it, but when I called back, he's like, just bring it in and just bring back the pizza and we'll get you a new one. I'm like, you want me to fucking bring the pizza back? Are you fucking kidding me? We can't keep the pizza? Not that I like pineapple pizza. I wouldn't eat pineapple pizza if you fucking paid me $1 million. But why the fuck would I have to bring back the pizza? Then I walk in with the pizza. He doesn't even ask me to see it. And he's like, oh, just keep the pizza. And here's another one. Do you need anything else? Here's some fucking red pepper and Parmesan. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this guy smoking? I thought he was high, but that's another point. Anyway, when we came back in, at that point, the Niners, when we first went to get the pineapple pizza, the Niners were down 17. They drive down, they get a field goal, right? It looked like they might score a touchdown. They had that crazy Juwan Jennings one-hand catch. Whatever, right? They get a field goal. Not what you needed. You needed a touchdown there to get back in the game. On the ensuing drive, this is when this happens, right? We come back in. They're already, remember we walked in, we're like, oh my God, they're already at the fucking 40-yard line of San Francisco. Like, we turned it off for 30 seconds. How the fuck did they get down there? It just felt like, and I'm not even on the team. I just had a rooting interest because I bet on the Niners to win the game in a teaser. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking over. We can't get a stop. So to me, it just felt like, okay, there's 7 minutes to go in the third. You're 22 minutes away from a Super Bowl, right? It was a 45-yard kick, and they talked about this. I listened to somebody who posted the numbers. There was a 75% chance that they make that field goal. It's 45 yards. There's a 59% chance that they get the first down on 4th and 2. That was the difference. Well, if you get the first down, there's no guarantee that you score a touchdown anyway. You might kick a field goal anyway. So, like, to me, the risk versus reward was stupid. Not to mention, analytics, all that, whatever, might have said go for it. It doesn't take into account momentum. I mean, that gave the Niners life.
Yeah, I'm sure the analytics said go for it, but I'm 100% with you because I remember that one now. I forgot there was the first one.
That one cost them the game.
That was, because
flip the whole game.
The Niners go down and score a field goal, right? Who cares? You come down, you take, there's 8 minutes of the quarter gone. You come down and match them with the field goal, and you're still up 3 scores. You're in the driver's seat. Like you said, I remember when they went for it, and I was like, man, I would not do this. I said, I know the analytics say it, but you got to just go back up 3 scores. And you rooting for the Niners was like, no, this is actually the best case scenario because if they don't get it, we have all the momentum. And I was like, definitely true. Like I said, I mean, that one, I get that it's 4th and 2, and that's what they've done all year, but that's where I go back to. You can't coach, an NFC championship game purely off the analytics. You can do that through a 17-game season and say, hey, this is how we're going to play it. But when you can go back up 3 scores, especially against a team in the Niners who Moody struggled. So, you go back up 3 scores. Next thing you know, maybe the Niners cut it to 3. But we always talk about this. Then they get the ball back, so the Niners get it back with 3 minutes left. Shanahan's notorious for playing for a field goal to tie the game with a better team. Then you leave it on Moody to send it to OT. Yep. He might pull a Bass and, slice it right.
I just thought it was really stupid.
I definitely think they should have gone up 3 scores. 100% agree with you. The other one, I don't find near as bad on 4th and 3 just because you've lost all the momentum. I know you would have kicked it too, but you've lost all the momentum. I don't hate that one
as much.
But, running, the big one to me was still, we were talking about it like, well, you can't run here on 3rd down. And I guess they were trying to catch him off guard because even the announcers
that's what they were doing.
They had a light package in. There was 3 receivers in the game. And I was like, what the hell are they doing? I was like, okay, they're going to throw a quick, and the Niners obviously stuffed it, and that was the game. But that is just, it's a cardinal sin. You can't do that. Then you spend your time out. You go from probably scoring, even if you throw it in 2 downs, or you throw it, then run it, you're more than likely going to score. You have all 3 timeouts left. You kick the ball deep, 1 stop, down 3 points, and you're going to get it back with like a minute 30 left. And they run it, they burn the timeout, and then the game's over. You have to get an onside kick or the game's over.
And Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator, and I was tweeting at him last night. I think I sent 7 tweets out when they were losing, but he's the worst fucking defensive coordinator. Like, he is a fucking absolute bum, dude. This is a guy who got fired after 1 season in Arizona because he was such a loser. Horrific defensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan literally had to change. This is a true story. In the beginning of the season, when the Niners defense was struggling in that 3-game stretch, he changed his whole schedule so that he could be in every defensive meeting because he doesn't trust the guy. I don't even know if he'll be there next year, even if they win a Super Bowl. The defense has dropped off tremendously. I mean, it's nothing like a Niners defense that you'd expect. Maybe early in the year when they still had a little bit of the DeMeco Ryans identity, but as the year has gone on, they've gotten worse, which is the opposite of what he was.
So this guy just stepped in as soon as DeMeco left.
Yes, and this is a guy.
Promoted him.
This is a guy. Well, he was actually the interim at Carolina when they fired Rule, but he's been all over, dude. He was in college everywhere. I mean, he's never been very good. It was a bad hire. I don't know what Shanahan was thinking there. The run, I agree. They obviously, Ben Johnson is just, to me, he's not coaching based on the scoreboard, and that's the problem with that spot. He's thinking, okay, they are never thinking we're running here. This might be our best chance to score. It doesn't matter. Number one, you've had plenty of success running the ball when they know you're running the ball anyway. So if it gets into a 4th and 1, it's okay. Because at that point, you can run the ball because it's over if you don't get it, and if you score, the clock's not going to stop anyway. So, to me, it just didn't make a lot of sense the way the game had played out. You've been running the ball pretty well with either of the guys, really, Gibbs or Montgomery. I would have gone with Montgomery because Gibbs has had a couple TFLs against him. But that was horrific because, you put all the pressure then on Brock Purdy in that offense to get a first down. Would San Francisco have gotten a first down? Probably anyway. I think they probably would have. McCaffrey was starting to get going. But here's the other thing. McCaffrey didn't even come in on that last drive. Which, by the way, how about Shanahan not taking a knee at the end of the game there? I mean, what a fucking idiot. He's the worst clock manager, but...
Yeah, I mean, people always argue, well, it wouldn't have been quite over. But look, a run takes... say you run the ball up the middle, it takes 4 seconds. You can easily back a quarterback up.
Yeah.
And have him take a knee and have it take, I don't know, maybe a second, let's call it a second less. It's way safer.
Yeah.
Just take a snap and back up and take a knee. I think some of these guys are crazy enough to, I've heard from some people that, and I don't think, obviously, in this situation he was thinking about it, but there are some, offensive, savants kind of like him that, don't like getting yards taken off. That, who cares, dude? It's in this situation, I'm not saying that was the case. I think it was just the 14-second difference or whatever, and he was like, okay, I'm just going to run it, and then, whatever. But, yeah, after seeing Cristobal do that at fucking Miami this year, I mean, just back up with your fucking quarterback and take a knee.
I mean, that one was a different story because he legitimately could have run the clock out. Yeah. It was like there was a chance, true, maybe. Yeah. But here's the thing about it is it's the lack of coaching points that I didn't understand. Like, you have Jordan Mason, your backup running back in the game already, who's not used to touching the ball a lot. He got the first and second down carry, and on first down, he was driving his legs trying to get extra yards. How is that not a coaching point? Like, how do I, as the offensive coordinator, the head coach, not go to him and say, hey, look, you get hit, you fall down immediately. You put both hands on the ball. I mean, they were stripping at that thing. He didn't fumble it, obviously, but they sure made it interesting at the end there. I want to say one last thing. I just hate, and I know Dan Campbell's going to get a ton of heat, and he's getting a ton of heat today, and a lot of people finally are bashing him. But it's funny to me how he did the same thing in the Cowboys game, right? He has done this. He's exploded on himself multiple times. He's made a lot of coaching blunders. We always give him the benefit of the doubt because they win games like, oh, he's aggressive, whereas, Brandon Staley is an idiot. Well, they do the same exact thing. My issue is the lack of adaptation. As someone who coached, right, your entire existence relies on the ability to adapt and adjust. If you don't adapt and adjust and you just say, we do what we do, think back to fucking NBA Mike D'Antoni's Suns when they're playing the Spurs and Tony, we just do what we do, guys. We're going to win. Really? Nothing about the dunk and pick and roll and, all that? No game plan. We're just going to do what we do. That doesn't work unless you're the best team. You have to be the best team in the league, have the best players, and still have everything go right for you to win the game. I don't understand. If I'm coaching a team and I'm a pressing team and we're up 20 and they break my press 5 times in a row, I'm not going to, in the timeout, be like, well, guys, we're going to do what we do. We're going to keep pressing. It's going to be like, no, they're on a run. We got to adjust. We got to switch defenses. We got to try something different. I'm not going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. That was my issue with Dan Campbell. He seems to refuse to adjust and adapt. Will he going forward? I don't know. Maybe he learns from this because he did 2 times, like you said, before the end of the first half, he kicked the field goal. He did it against Tampa Bay early in that game. There was a 4th and goal from the 3. He kicked the field goal when he kind of felt that Jared Goff was getting tight, and I thought the same thing. I was like, here's the evolution of Dan Campbell. Maybe he's getting a little bit better. Nope. Went right back to his old ways. That it cost him the game.
My take on it is I think football can be a little bit different in basketball in the sense that, and I agree with you in the sense that you have to adapt and do different things. But he gets so caught up, and that's what cost him. He thinks of it more as not the analytics and stuff like that, because you can just tell the way he coaches and the guys respect him, that he feels like in certain situations, if he does take the points, just because the way he's been, and it shouldn't be this way, but if he does take the points, the guys are like, okay, well, why are we,
It's different all of a sudden.
Why are we doing this all of a sudden? He's had faith in us all year on 4th down, and now we're taking the points, and it's weird, but some guys really can't. It's like you almost just have to stick to your guns. But listen,
not on the first one. I just don't buy that on the first one.
No. The first one I'm with you because you've got to say, hey guys, look, you call the guys over and look, they got a field goal. We just came down on the drive. We're going to match them with a field goal. We're up 17 points, boys. Defense playing well. Just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't take any explaining, but it's just certain things where, like the Cowboys one was absolutely ridiculous. Of course. It's like, why would he go for it from the 8-yard line? It's just like, I told the guys you're going to. And obviously here's the thing I will say. I personally believe that if in this game, if, like, say they were playing the Cowboys and that was the situation in the NFC Championship game, he would have I think he would have kicked the extra point in that situation. In an NFC Championship game. I think the Cowboys game meant maybe a little bit less. I can't remember. I can't remember what we said. I couldn't remember what was on the line.
It mattered for seeding a little bit. It was like if they won and like the Eagles lost the last week, then they could still get the number 2 seed.
So the whole thing with that is simple fact is we're much better off going from 2, even from the 8-yard line, than playing another 10 minutes of football and getting beaten up over seeding.
That's the only argument.
Well, that is the argument. I think,
but that's not why he did it. I don't think that's why he did it. I think he just thought, I want to win the game. I think he's simple-minded like that.
Yes and no. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's ever going to go to a press conference and be like, hey, look, we didn't want to play 10 more minutes of football. He would never say that.
I know that, but I also think that he's authentic. I don't think he's going to go in there and lie. Like, to me, you just look at that. It's like, you're on the 8-yard line. Like, kick the extra point. That, to me, if I'm on the team right there and I'm on that team, I'm like, why are we going for this? Like, that is to me. And here's the last thing, and I do want to move on to the other game, but if I'm the players, I could argue, like you said, it would freak the players out if they stopped going for it all the time.
If it would freak
I know, but I like the point. My problem with it is this. 2 times in the last 2 games, he has done that. On the 3-yard line against Tampa Bay, they kicked the field goal. And before the half, they kicked the field goal. And it's like, that's the same type of deal. Like, if he had done it every time, if, like, no matter what, any circumstance, any game, I go for it, honestly, I have less of a problem with it, because then it really is just like, all right, we're doing this, and if we're going to lose going down with the fire like this, but that's not what happened. He did feel out the game in other points, which means that he didn't feel it out correctly in this time.
Yeah,
that's my problem.
I would agree with that. I think the one in the Niners game to go up 3 scores at halftime was an absolute no-brainer, even for a guy that's super aggressive. The one in the Bucks game, I don't remember seeing that drive where they kicked the field goal. I don't think I was watching at that point. But the way you explained it, I would have to go see where they were, because I think you said you said the 3-yard line, but
it was the 3-yard line. I watched the game. I had the line, and I remember because it was second drive of the game. It was 0-0.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why he would. It was
0-0. It was off of an interception from Baker Mayfield, and Jared Goff looked real tight, like they had been on the 3-yard line for all 3 plays. And he decided to kick a field goal right there. And nobody will talk about that, but that legitimately is what happened in that. But we can move on to this other game, because I do want to talk about Chiefs-Ravens too. Real quick before I do, I didn't think Goff was very good in that game.
No, he missed a lot of throws.
He looked like noodle arm Jared again. The fucking flea flicker, dude. That was like 20 yards short. Just thought he was really bad. I don't know if this Lions team can go further than this with Jared Goff. Like, this might have been their best opportunity. The Niners really gave them an opening here, and if they go to the Super Bowl, I don't believe that they win, but I do believe if there's any year that they could have won, it would have been this year, because the Chiefs are vulnerable. As good as they have looked in the last couple games, they're a vulnerable team. They have not been dominant all year, and you get in a 1-game sample with a team that believes, all of a sudden you never know.
Yep.
But let's talk about Chiefs-Ravens for a second. I mean, this is the same old story, right? It's the same old Lions. It's the same old Lamar Jackson. I mean, dude, some of the decisions.
Yeah, are horrible. And it's funny because, like, you look at his final, people that are like that love Lamar Jackson will be like, well, he was 272 for a touchdown and a pick, but his QBR was 42.
Horrible.
I'm looking at it now.
Horrible.
And yeah, he was just not very. It was same old playoff Lamar. I mean,
You called
hate to beat a dead horse, but I was telling people all week that I was like, man, I'm retired, don't gamble anymore. But if you're getting 4 to 4.5 points with Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, I don't know how you're taking Lamar Jackson.
I do gamble, and I bet on the Chiefs in multiple ways.
I go, the Ravens, obviously, eye tested on paper, they're better. But I even told you this yesterday. I think to eye test and what happens in the regular season, you can almost throw out with the Chiefs. They go to the AFC Championship every year, and they go to the Super Bowl every other year. And it's just like 4 out of 6 or whatever it is. And it's just
I think it's 4
they've almost turned into the Patriots in the sense that obviously you're not giving them the Brady accolades or anything like that, but they've almost turned. You almost give them that respect that it's like it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. It makes no difference how they look when they go in the playoffs. Travis Kelce starts playing 3 times as hard.
Yeah.
Pat makes plays, and it shouldn't be that surprising because this is the best defense they've ever had. So
yeah, well, I think the reason that people weren't believers on the Chiefs, and I was one of them. I will say you convinced me in this matchup, and I've been adamant on this all year. I don't believe in Lamar Jackson at all in the playoffs. I think I said it during the game yesterday. I think you have to be able to throw the ball well, accurately, on time in the playoffs. JB said it when he was on the show a couple weeks ago, and it's true. And he can't do that, and he never has been able to do that, and he never will be able to do that. That's not the type of quarterback he is. I thought the game plan for Baltimore was horrific. I mean, you drop back and have Lamar Jackson throw the ball. How many times did he throw it? 30 plus at least, right? how many times, too, did he drop back to throw and scramble as well? So it's just, I don't understand.
No, it's bizarre. I'm looking at the box score here. The Ravens rushed the ball the entire game 16 times.
Hey, threw it 37.
And 8 of those were Lamar Jackson runs.
Right. So
Gus Edwards got 3 carries. Zay Flowers got 2. And Justice Hill got 3.
So you have 6 carries from running backs the entire game. How on earth is Todd Monken going into a game plan looking like, yeah, let's go ahead and throw the ball with Lamar Jackson? What was it? So if you count the eight carries for Lamar, I don't think, but maybe 1 was designed. So they dropped him back 44, 45 times to throw. Are you fucking kidding me? And it's like it wasn't like a situation where they're down 3 or 4 scores and they're having to throw. They were down 10 at most the whole game, and it felt like, you said this during the game we were watching it. You said it feels like Lamar is trying to get it all back with one play. Like, he just panicked and felt like, oh my God, we're losing in the championship game. We're going to lose this game. And that's what happened. Now, were there a couple plays that went the Chiefs' way? Absolutely. It is surprising that the Chiefs won this game not scoring a single point in the second half. That does surprise me. If you told me the Chiefs weren't going to score in the second half, I would have told you the Ravens are going to win the game.
Well,
but,
yeah,
I know. They did play the game the way it should be played because they didn't think that the Ravens could score. But the only thing that I would argue on the other side, and I'll let you rebut, but it's like, okay, if Zay Flowers scores there,
it's a completely
different game. So, like, I get it. Like,
but that's to open the fourth. There was like 14-30
I agree.
left when he fumbled. So, like, if you score there, if you look at the Chiefs' drives, and I'm looking at the GameCast, like when they didn't score, there was 2 drives. They took 5 minutes off the clock and punted the ball. One time they pinned them on the 1-yard line. I mean, like, in the second half, when you're up 10 in the playoffs, that's a successful drive. That's what people – there's a guy I follow. He's a big diehard Ravens guy, and he has a Ravens podcast. And he was like, yeah, we shut him out in the second half. I was like, you did, but it was – they weren't running their normal offense.
Yeah, they weren't.
By design.
They did have three and outs in the second half. 3 of their 5 drives went 3 and out in the second half.
No. Credit to – and listen, credit to Baltimore's defense for shutting him down. They did a good job. I'm just saying, not taking any credit away from them. The play calling, look, when Pacheco runs the ball 24 times, that's by design. They're just trying to hold on to the ball, let Pat have a 10-point lead, and they say, listen, if you cut it to 3, if you do cut it to 3,
then we're going to open it up.
Which they should have. Zay Flowers should have scored. Then they can open it up. I think the Ravens did a good job on defense, but the narrative that, they just absolutely shut down the Chiefs in the second half, I don't necessarily like. But you do make a good point. The Chiefs typically lately they have been slowing down in the second half. Yeah. So I don't know if that's them just trying to manage the game and get over the line, or them, teams making adjustments on them and them not really changing because they don't look near as good in the second half. But defense is playing fucking great. So
no, they are, and their second half defense is what's been elite. Like, yeah, I mean, they were good the whole game against the Ravens. You look at it, the only time the Ravens scored an offensive touchdown, the play, it should have been a sack. Lamar got out of a sack. It was a scramble drill play, and Zay Flowers just broke away from the corner, and they scored. That was the only play. Now, you could balance that out with the fact that the second one should have been a touchdown, and they knocked it out at the one. So they scored about 1 legitimate touchdown to me in the game. But, yeah, I will say I do think it's by design. I think that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes realized at one point, maybe after that Raiders loss, like, okay, we cannot just – chunk the ball downfield. We don't have the receivers to do it. We're not going to be able to push the ball downfield like we used to. How about we take advantage of Mahomes' track record of, like, they're gonna see a lot of too high shell. They're gonna see a lot of underneath things open up. Well, let's take that. Let's just embrace that. And if you look at it, Mahomes in the playoffs hasn't had a game where he's thrown over 260 yards. Hasn't had a game with more. He has 4 total touchdowns in 3 games, but his QBR 88.4, 91.2, 91.1 in the 3 games. So it's like he's doing what he needs to, and it's weird to see him in this spot. But like you said, when they need to make plays, they step up. Kelce was incredible yesterday. He was the MVP of the game. Mahomes made some big-time plays. Didn't use his legs as much, to my dismay, having over 27.5 rushing yards from Mahomes. Fucking run the fucking ball. But, yes, I think that I do think that throw out the regular season now. I didn't believe it before. I kind of do now. I kind of think it's like they're like the old Patriots a little bit.
Mahomes, they've kind of turned into this team. The defense is a little bit better, but they've turned into the Packers almost of like 2-3 years ago, where Rodgers, you know he can do whatever he needs to do, but they just realize, hey, look, this team, you know, we don't have a lot of big play receivers. You know, Mahomes obviously has Kelce, which helps a lot. And Rodgers never had that, but it's like we're going to run the ball. We're going to, you know, when Rodgers needs to make plays with his feet, he does. The one thing I will touch on the Ravens real quick is all year they've wanted to turn Lamar into more of a thrower and not a runner, which in the regular season, you're trying to keep the guy healthy. He's probably going to win MVP, right? Whatever. Good season. In the playoffs, it should be nothing but QB, reads, options. He should be running the ball 20 times in the game, and that's how you're going to win as the Ravens.
And if they
you're
don't
not
learn
win
from that,
throwing the ball 37 times.
Right.
And you have to, and it goes back to like, there's regular season football, there's playoff football. You do not keep the same game plan
absolutely
in the playoffs.
Well, that's my argument against Campbell.
Run it,
right?
27. No, and
that's the same type of deal. You can't just go for it whenever you feel like it, just because in the playoffs. It's the same argument to me.
Well, one's more of a philosophy and one's X's and O's, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, it's like, for me, on the offensive side, Monken's got to, like, look, your best weapon is Lamar Jackson running the ball. It's very simple. He ran the ball 8 times. Design runs, maybe 3 of those were design runs. Maybe. And that's maybe not. I think most of them were him just taking off. That's what I'm saying. I was just guessing 3 of them were design runs.
I don't know how many were.
I think they ran one quarterback kind of power draw, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember them.
It was on that 4th and 1. That was the only design run that I can think of. Maybe there was more, but that was the only one I can think of.
It's just bizarre to me. It's like, that's your best weapon, and I get that in the regular season, you want to steer away from that because you don't want to get them hurt. In the playoffs, run them 25 times. You're trying to win a freaking Super Bowl. Like, I mean, that's why you pay them the big bucks. So
if the Ravens don't learn from this, to me, I will never feel sorry for them, because you just have to, at this point, right? Lamar is now what? I think he's 2-4 in the playoffs now, which is the same record as Dak Prescott going into this season. I think Dak's now 2-5. So it's like, okay, if you don't look at this and be like, wow, we really fucked this up trying to make him a pocket passer this year. Like, that was the whole identity of the season, right? Like you said, let's make him throw the ball. We're going to limit his runs. We're going to keep him healthy. And really, to be honest, this is a guy who, you know, everybody freaks out over one fucking game. One game, the 49ers game. You said it yesterday. If they don't win that 49ers game the way they do, that line yesterday versus the Chiefs is completely different. Like they are saying, just the same thing with the 49ers losing the game, like the line is short. That's what it is. That one game changed a lot in people's minds. Going into that game, people thought San Francisco was the best team. Baltimore was just, you know, solid. Opposite coming out. The truth of the matter is, Lamar underperformed most of the season, right? Like, his touchdown over-under of, I would know, was 24.5. He went under the total, and that included a 5-touchdown game, the final game of the regular season. Like, he was not very good for most of the year. He had some very, like, good performances, but in general, he wasn't, like, elite. His numbers weren't great. They won a lot of games.
His old, like, MVP season,
right? And so, it's the worst stats of an MVP that we've ever seen, and he's going to win it because it's the regular season, and people just freaked out over those games, and they voted based on that.
Too bad Tyreek couldn't have stayed, like, healthy and played. If he would have broken the record, I think this would have been the year they actually would have given it to him, because no one else blew anything out of the water. And you have Josh Allen, who's thrown a million picks, and Prescott, who shit on himself in the playoffs. So I know they're not supposed to take that into account, but they always
he shit on himself in that Bills game. That's what killed him, when he threw for like 80 yards and 2 picks and they lost.
I expect the Ravens to be right back here next year. I think Tony Romo actually said at the end of the games, like, listen, I think they're going to come right back to the AFC Championship game, or be right there. They're going to win another 12. Listen, they're going to win 12 games next year. In my mind, maybe 11, 12 games. I just think that it's all fine and dandy doing that in the regular season with Lamar Jackson, like we touched on, but in the playoffs, you just have to. You have to let him use his legs, and you have to have a lot of design runs. That's when they're at the best.
I agree. The only reason I would say that I don't think it's a foregone conclusion is this is a devastating loss, and now it's going to weigh on Lamar Jackson. Like, man, again, finally. Everybody said this was finally the time I was going to do it, and I didn't. Maybe I'm not a pocket pat. Maybe I can't be a quarterback. I don't think he thinks that, but maybe that creeps in. Then you look at just the and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you look at the AFC landscape. Rodgers comes back healthy next year. The Jets are going to be better. The Dolphins, I've never seen a team more decimated by injury. I don't believe in Mike McDaniel as a head coach.
I don't believe in Tua.
I don't believe in Tua at all, but I still think the Dolphins are going to be a little bit better if they stay healthy next year.
Bengals will be good next year.
Bengals get Burrow back. Browns get Deshaun Watson back. The Jaguars had a down year, but they don't buy them. The Texans are going to be improved. The Chargers got Harbaugh. They're going to be better.
The Browns need to bring back Flacco.
The Browns do not need to bring back Flacco. But
Watson sucks.
He was playing better towards the end of that time.
Sure he was.
He was playing much better. Look, terrible towel, baby. All right, now you see me, now you don't. All right, let's talk about the Super Bowl here, because we've got a very, very interesting matchup, and I can tell you one thing: the sports books are going to fucking need the 49ers, because that line opened at -2.5 yesterday. It got bet down to 1 real fucking quick, like immediately down to 1. And I guarantee you this: that betting, that move was sharp bettors, and I can already tell you the public is going to be all over Kansas City. So I would be shocked to see anything less than 80% of the bets and the money on the Chiefs. It actually scares me a bit, because I like the Chiefs too. I actually bet them last night because I got them at plus money on the money line. I got them at plus 110, and I just figured the line's probably going to flip. I'm going to hopefully get a free, $10 there on a flip plus money. But if not, I like the Chiefs. I think they're going to win. The only thing I would say is we're currently at, and you tell me your thoughts, we're currently at the peak price of the Chiefs here, right? And I'm talking a betting perspective, but I just, in terms of public perception too, right? Like, this is the best the Chiefs have looked all season, and after outperforming expectation, everybody's thoughts is going to be, well, I'm not betting against Mahomes in a Super Bowl. I'm not betting against Mahomes and Reed. They just beat the Ravens, who were the best team. Of course they're going to beat the Niners. That's going to be the public perception. Meanwhile, the Niners, to me, are at their lowest point, right? They underperformed versus the Packers. They underperformed versus the Lions. Should have lost both games probably. If they, got very fortunate with a couple Dan Campbell calls, got very fortunate in that Packers game. Like, they could have lost either of those games. So to me, if you think about this, what is the line on this game going into the playoffs? I legitimately believe it's
49ers by 3.
You think it's by 3 before the playoffs? I think
before the playoffs?
Before the playoffs. What was this line?
Yeah, I would in the Super Bowl. They're just I cannot imagine them making it. I mean, I get what you're saying.
5.5.
Yeah, they could.
I'm not talking about a Super Bowl. I'm saying if you put before it, like, let's put these two teams on a neutral field before the playoffs, what would the numbers have said?
It would have been 5.
5.5, I think. It could have been between 5 and 6
before the playoffs.
So my point is then,
I get what you're saying. Chiefs are super high right now,
right?
And the Niners are coming in.
Are we gonna take 2 data points and fucking move the line 6 fucking points? Is the crazy thing. And I bet the Chiefs already, so I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying it's wild that we see 2 games and how these teams played, and we flip complete perception of them, which, is it fair, is it not? I don't know. I don't know if it is. Maybe.
This is a stupid take, but, like, imagine you just take the quarterbacks just completely out of this game. Obviously, which you can't do, but it's like,
right,
the Niners are, probably 4 or 5 points better, but you just can't. I mean, it's just like you did last night, and I know that you like to avoid the public side of things, but the Chiefs, you would be an absolute lunatic to back Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl 100%. Versus Patrick Mahomes. 100%. And Andy Reid, he's been there, done that. I mean, Shanahan's got experience in the Super Bowl, blowing a 24-3 lead to the, as an offense coordinator to the Patriots. Another great quarterback. And he had Matt Ryan in that game, who's way better than Brock Purdy.
So. Wasn't it 28-3?
I don't know.
It was something crazy.
27-3, 28-3. It was something nuts. I don't know
what
what it was.
Do you remember, Bailey? 28-3. Yeah. So they're 25 point. Yeah, it was the most epic collapse in football history.
That was actually really funny. That's, back during my betting days, and I had a buddy that we'd bet on these games together, and he went to sleep. I'm not kidding. He fell asleep on his couch during the game at 28-3, and I was like, well, that was easy money, and then woke up to a loser.
Oh, my God, dude.
His dad woke him up.
Talk about a nightmare.
His dad woke him up in overtime. He's like, what the fuck is going on? They blew the whole lead. Tom Brady, and he's like, got to see the James White touchdown for the lead.
That is like literally waking up for a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're right. This is an overreaction because of that. And, it would have been really nice for you to end up getting the Chiefs plus 3 points because you would have done it anyway.
I would have done that.
But, I mean, I do think that the Chiefs will ultimately find a way to win the game. And, I can already tell you Spagnuolo's just going to have a loaded box, and he's going to say, okay, Brock Purdy, go ahead and beat me.
Yeah.
And
the Chiefs have good corners, too.
They're real good.
Yeah,
they're real good at corners. And, Mahomes, you just think he's just going to get it done. And, Kelce's going to be amped up, ready to go. It really is just a quarterback matchup. And I know we keep touching on, but it's just you can't back Brock Purdy in a Super Bowl versus Patrick Mahomes. I can't anyway. You got bigger cojones than me if you do it.
All I know is no. I agree with you. I mean, I took the Chiefs already, but I took them more on a price perspective. Just I think the line will move. I think it's going to flip. I think the Chiefs are going to close like a 1-point favorite. Maybe not. But like I said, if I don't,
it's going to be right.
If I don't, it wasn't a big bet. If I don't, then I have the Chiefs at plus money in a Super Bowl Mahomes versus Brock Purdy, like you said. So like, do I hate that? Absolutely not. I like that. But my problem is I want the Niners to win. I don't want to see Mahomes win another damn Super Bowl. They weren't the best team all year. So like, I get it. Like, it's not always the best team who wins, and it's the team who steps up and is clutch in the playoffs and wins those games. That's fair. But I don't want to see a team who didn't really deserve. They were outplayed by a lot of teams. Watching them play the Raiders on Christmas Eve was like, what am I watching now? They can't even score on offense anymore. Like, even in the playoffs, the offense hasn't looked like incredible.
Yeah.
They just have had a really good defense. They've done a great job coaching. But so I really want to root for the 49ers here, but I agree. I just don't know. My issue with it is this. Do you notice this? Like how vulnerable and I know I talked about Steve Wilkes earlier. Like, what have you noticed anything X's and O's wise or like schematically that has changed on the 49ers defense? Like, why are they so porous all of a sudden? I mean, it's just weird.
I have no idea. Yeah,
it's really odd. And it's not like
they don't have any major injuries or anything.
No, they have Bosa, Chase Young on that defensive line. They've got Greg Greenlaw and
Warner, Fred Warner. Yeah.
Fred Warner. I mean, it's just they have.
They're loaded. Yeah, I mean, the defense are absolutely loaded. You wouldn't be thinking the Lions would now give them credit. They played a great second half and held the Lions to almost nothing. But yeah, it's weird that the Lions just jumped on them like that.
But I will say though, and I said this to you last night, it really didn't feel like to me that the Niners stopped them. It felt like the Lions stopped themselves. I mean, I think about it. Okay,
it's true, yeah.
The fourth down that we said changed the game. The 4th and 2. It was a good job by Joey Bosa getting pressure, and it made Goff move, right? But Goff is just not a good thrower on the run. He should have made the throw. He made a bad throw, and then Reynolds should have caught. I think it was Reynolds should have caught the ball, right? It was kind of low, but he should have caught. It was bad by both of them. So that's number one. That's on the line. It's not really the Niners making a play. There was a series the next one after that, a fumble by Gibbs. Essentially the guy just drops the ball. I mean, it was not anything the Niners did. There was a 3rd down after that in a tie game where Reynolds had a wide open pass that would have been gone for like 20 on 3rd and 10, 25, 30 yards. He drops it. I mean,
there's just a lot of errors.
They dropped the interception. I mean, it's just everything went their way.
Yeah, that was talk about the defining moment of the game.
Yeah, that was
right off the face and
so
ended up in a
give
touchdown.
me
and I would say that the Lions, just touching back on that real quick, they ran it really effectively. So I was definitely surprised to see them just
that was weird
run it right down their throat because they definitely did that. Montgomery had a good game, but
wasn't it weird that they went away from that? I know we're talking about Super Bowl now, but why did the Lions go away from the run? That was weird.
I think it looked like the Niners put another big boy in the box, and they were just, hey, look, we're gonna let Goff beat us if you're gonna beat us, because they just knew that, especially with a 17-point lead, that they're gonna try to run the ball 70% of the time. So
okay, give me a couple things here since we're talking about this game. Let's go. Give me a prediction, and I'm going to pull up some fun real quick Super Bowl props for you to give me. But, okay, give me a prediction. Like, what's the final score here of this Super Bowl? I know you're picking the Chiefs, but, like, what do you think the score?
I'll go 27-24 Chiefs.
27-24.
27-24 Chiefs. Close game.
And we won't stick. Okay, these are our early predictions because we are going to do a show next week before, and we'll probably talk
initial
thoughts, right? So I think, to me, I'm going to go. I'm going to say the Chiefs win 28-17, but I reserve the right to change my pick next week because I really do want the Niners to win.
You're starting to sound more and more like your father. They always say, I reserve the right to change my pick whenever I want. I'm going to definitely tell him to say that.
Hold on.
He's going to change it mid-game. He's going to change it mid-game.
Yeah.
I picked the fucking Niners.
Whoa. I reserve the right to change my pick a week before the game starts.
Okay,
all right?
fine.
Not my father who will pick two different teams in the same game, then decide at halftime who he likes better based on the fucking score. That's a complete different. Don't you dare compare me to my fucking dad.
I love that he always fills out 2 brackets too.
Of course he does.
And like once he's not sure, he'll just put the other team in. It's great.
He leaves them blank.
He'll wait. Or he'll wait until at least like we're done through the first day and then fill out all winners. And then he do the rest of it. He goes, "That's my bracket."
All right.
Although he did win the bracket challenge not too long ago.
No, he did
Fucking
not.
Genius.
No, he did not. He didn't ever even enter the bracket. Oh God. Okay.
Oh yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. Now he's gonna bring that up.
Yes, he is. He doesn't watch it. He doesn't watch the show.
That's a good point.
Unless he's on, then he'll watch it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Only his parts.
Couple quick fun Super Bowl props. All right. What's the color of the Gatorade? What's the color of the Gatorade for the winner?
Purple.
Purple? Is that like a common one? What's the normal color? Anyone know?
I think it was purple last year. I don't know.
I'm gonna say red. Yeah, I'll go with red. I mean, they're both 49ers Chiefs, right? They're both red. I think red is a good one. I know I do see blue sometimes. I see blue every once in a while.
There used to be a hilarious, speaking of your props, there used to be a hilarious guy. I don't know who it was, but they would let him write a blog. I think I've told you this every single year for Barstool, and they called him Maestro. And he was like production for the Super Bowl, and he travels with it, and he has been for like 10 years. And they do like, they do like a fake halftime show with the artist, but they also have the person come out and sing the national anthem. And he would put a stopwatch on it and be like, it's going over, right? Like, it's going over, boys. Like, and leak the info that she's singing a real slow national. Christina Aguilera is singing a real slow national anthem this year.
Dude, I love that.
Over is like, that's pretty funny.
Here's a good one right here. This seems like my bet your baby bet of the week. My lock of the century. Will Taylor Swift be shown during the national anthem? Yes is -120. No is +110. I think that's like -400 is the true odds. How could she not be shown?
Just during the national anthem? You would think she would be, but
unless that's like a rigged bet.
You know what? It's one of those deals where like sometimes with the national anthem they'll do it and like have it on all the players, and then right when it's over they'll be like, "There's Donna, Kelce, and Taylor Swift ready for kickoff."
That's
like
true.
They might not do it right during will she be shown before they kick the ball off? Yeah, it's like 100%. But during the national anthem, I don't know. You're probably right though. You would think that they probably would.
Travis Kelce to score a touchdown is even money. Even money. I think that's a good one right there. I think that's
a bet your baby, whatever.
A bet your baby bet, yeah.
Bet.
That's my bet your baby bet. No, I like Taylor Swift to be shown.
He'll score a touchdown.
Taylor Swift to be shown in the national anthem is my bet your baby bet of the week.
Also, you got to
score a first half touchdown +270. He tends to score early in these games.
And also,
I like that.
And also, you got to realize too. Look what how Laporta diced up the Niners this last week. So that's now obviously you get 2 weeks to prepare, and the whole game plan is going to be okay. Well, how do we take away Kelce? But I think he'll still
the way the Ravens were unable to take him away, knowing what he is and having the best defense in the league, having a guy like Kyle Hamilton who we've talked about, he can't neutralize him, but it can help. And he had 11 targets, 11 catches, 116 yards and two touchdowns.
They definitely talked about taking him away.
Just couldn't do it.
You really can't unless you're double because anytime it's zone coverage, he just finds a spot to sit down and gets himself a catch.
It's bad. All right, we got anything else on this game, the Super Bowl, or should we move on a little bit?
No, yeah, we'll have to get Big Dog in here for his official bet, the lock of the whatever he's going to call it. Big Dog's lock of the century.
If you have a house, I would bet your house. So that's usually what he says.
That's his favorite thing to say.
Bet your house on it.
The best is when he was like, you were talking to Brown, he's in there going, I'll give him the fucking picks. You don't know shit. He's screaming from the back room. Give him good ones.
Let's I went and told him after that, and he was like,
fuck, you don't know shit.
I'll give him my picks. All right, let's give him some winners. Let's talk a little bit. We'll keep it NFL for one more one more little segment here. Let's talk a little bit about the coaching carousel because we've had some moves since we had a show last. Obviously, to me, the biggest surprise is this shocking? Vrabel and Belichick aren't going to get jobs? It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I'm not totally shocked. I mean, I thought that Belichick was going to end up in Atlanta, and basically the front office said no because they just realized that they would probably be gone if they didn't make. It's like, okay, well, if I hire you and you want to do the front office stuff, well, then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It's like one of those.
Yeah.
It didn't make much sense for them to keep their job. So which that hire was a head scratcher for sure with them hiring Morris.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even
the
think the
fuck
Rams
was that?
defense has been that good.
They've been horrible.
I mean, if you're gonna go get a defensive guy, go ahead and get Vrabel.
It
Ben
absolutely
Johnson
blows my mind.
Ben
how
Johnson to the Commanders. I know we were giving all our predictions of where people were going to go. I guess I was right about two. I had Harbaugh and L.A. and then Ben Johnson and the Commanders. But I think those are the only
I don't
two.
remember what I said.
I know I didn't get any other ones right.
I don't remember. I definitely didn't get Raheem Morris. I don't think
No one got Raheem Morris.
I didn't get Dave Canales. Yeah.
No one got that.
Dude,
yeah.
these three, no one got any of these. These three absolute fucking head scratchers. The Titans hire Brian Callahan. Brian Callahan, who doesn't even call the fucking plays for the Bengals. He sits there and doesn't do shit.
Our producer Bailey said that was a great. Right after that, he said it was a fantastic.
He
hire.
hates the hire. It's who the fuck would hire that guy as a head coach? I mean, it's baffling to me. Not to mention that offense. Obviously they've got Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, but there's been complaints over the last couple of years by those guys about their coaching and their play calling offensively. So blows my mind that they make that hire. Don't understand it at all. You fire Mike Vrabel, who I think is a better coach than any of these guys, and you hire a guy who I didn't even think was a fucking real candidate. I didn't even know he was actually a candidate to get hired. It fucking blows my mind. But that's what happens when you have an owner that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and isn't a fucking football person. Not saying that because she's a woman, but
I thought she was going to hire Condoleezza Rice. I thought that was the only direction to go. I said they're hiring Condoleezza. It
might have been a better hire than fucking Brian Callahan.
A trailblazer.
Oh, man. Then you have the fucking Falcons hiring Raheem Morris, like you said. And then the Panthers hired Dave Canales, which I think the only reason they did it is my feeling is everyone else said fucking no. I don't want to work for Tepper. That's what it felt like because Canales didn't seem like a legitimate candidate to me until that, it was yeah, maybe we'll interview him, but he's not going to get a job. They were fucking 9-8 this year. What the fuck? It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
They just went with a young guy, and like you said, there's probably several people that turned down that job. You would think.
I would think. You think Ben Johnson is a lock to Washington? I think that's going to happen, right?
Oh, yeah, that's where he's going.
That's a good hire. He'll get to draft his quarterback.
And I had never really, there wasn't much talk about it, so you just kind of knew that. I think that's been an agreement probably for a month now, it seems like.
Yeah, everybody's
always going to happen.
I don't even think you can bet on it anymore. Yeah. How about, two more things I want to talk about. First, Harbaugh to the Chargers. Mm-hmm. We thought, it felt like, he's either going back to Michigan or he is going to the Chargers.
Yep.
He's not, there's nowhere else he's going, and that seemed to be what it was. So he brought his defensive coordinator with him, which was, what's that guy's name again? I forget. Jesse Minter. That's right. So Jesse Minter goes with him, which I think is a great hire for them as a DC. I think he's outstanding young coach. I think I said this to you this weekend. I believe the Chargers will not only get to, but win a Super Bowl within the next 4 years. I wrote an article about it on a long article about Jim Harbaugh on my website, DylanLeakeSports.com. When you actually look back at the things Harbaugh's done with quarterbacks, it's fucking incredible. He had two guys at San Diego. One guy who was, I forget his name, Todd Morton. This guy was a 3-year backup at BYU. Played a total of 73 snaps. He had a 40% completion percentage with 7 picks and a touchdown. He was going to be a backup forever. Transfers to San Diego. He turned him into the co-offensive player of the year in 1 year. Then he gets Josh Johnson at San Diego. Leads the country in yards, touchdowns. He has the all-time passer rating record for NCAA football. It still stands today. He goes and gets Andrew Luck, turns Andrew Luck, who was obviously already talented, turns him into a stud, first-round draft pick, would have been a Hall of Famer if he didn't retire early. Obviously J.J. McCarthy. The list goes on and on. Everywhere he goes, he makes the quarterback better. Yep. Now he's going to a place with a quarterback who, in my opinion, talent-wise, is already a top 7 quarterback in the league.
I think he's top 5.
I think he's top 5, too. I just think most people generally accept he's top 10 for sure. I agree. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. I am a huge Harbaugh fan. I think I might switch from the Cowboys and become a Chargers fan now.
Yeah.
I love...
Starting to sound like your dad even more and more. Here we go.
God, go fuck
Here we go.
I'm sorry, you're going to start to piss me off.
Anyway, we can get it. Oh, fuck Cowboys. Oh, and he's back there listening to fucking the 3-hour post-game wrap-up where they're talking to someone that played 42 years ago, giving his...
He's like your niece, like where you said she hides the candy and goes and steals it out of there. You're like, what are you doing? It's like
nothing.
Nothing. My dad's in the back and he's over there like holding the phone like this.
Yeah, he's like, I got to sit back here.
What are you listening to? Oh, I'm working. I'm working. Yeah. Do you think I'm right? You think Harbaugh's going to win a Super Bowl that quickly?
And it's going to be, I'll even go a step further. It's going to be poetic justice. It'll be in 2 or 3 years, and they're going to play his brother in the Ravens, and he's going to beat him this time with the Chargers.
Well, they'd have to play in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, yeah, damn. Forgot. He's not in the NFC anymore. Yeah. That would be impossible.
That would be impossible.
Well, he'll just beat him in the AFC Championship
game. And then
he'll
win the Super Bowl.
Well, I bet John's happy about that, though, because he was hilarious. He gave a funny interview on Pardon My Take with those guys, and he's like sitting there talking.
Harbaugh went on there?
John did.
No way.
This is I guess like last year or something. They're talking. He's like, so yeah, do you ever big dog Jim? Jim's his little brother, right? Yeah. He's like, well, yeah, I kind of used to growing up. And he goes, but then man, he got that job with the Bears, and we go on vacation with the whole family. And, we kind of have a wrestling background, so we're out wrestling in the ocean.
I heard this.
And he fucking one-legs me and slams me under the water, and he's holding me under the water. I'm like, thinking, let me up, asshole. And it's like, my brother's going to kill me. Like, I was down there for a minute. I swear to God, I was down there for a minute. And he finally let me up, and I'm like, choking, and he just looked at me like, yeah, I'm the big dog now. And he walked out, and he goes, yep, until I beat him in the Super Bowl. And he goes, now I'm the big dog. And of course, Big Cat loved it. He's like, oh, it's gold. He's like, yeah.
It is gold.
He's like, yep. He's like, and now he's in the AFC. He can never beat him in the Super Bowl. So you always have that over his little brother.
I'm sure they're probably happy that they won't have to meet in the Super Bowl again. I'm sure that's not a fun thing to have to play your brother in a Super Bowl. Definitely not for the family. I mean, it's a cool deal experience one time.
They seem like the kind of family that has the game, like you're playing Monopoly and there's like a fucking, like everybody knows the family and the brothers are just beating the shit out of each other because someone accuses someone of stealing a couple extra 200s from the bank and they're just fucking, beating the shit out of each other at the table.
I could see that. I could see some tables getting flipped over.
A very competitive family,
yes,
I'm sure.
I agree with that 100%. But it'll be interesting to see. I think the Chargers have a great basis of talent. I don't know how many of those guys are going to be able to keep under contract, but they've got a Bosa over there. They've got I believe they have Khalil Mack still on the defensive line. They've got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I don't know if Eckler's got much left in him, but obviously Herbert. I just think a team who's underperformed defensively for a long time, Harbaugh's going to turn them into a really good defensive team, and he's going to improve the quarterback play, and then that's what you need in the NFL.
Yep.
That's why he was successful in San Francisco, and that's why he's going to be successful here. Last coaching thing, and then we'll move on to a few other sports real quick before we get out of here. Kellen Moore to the Eagles, dude. What the fuck? I mean, are they fucking... I can't say that. They are fucking idiots. They are, right? Why on God's green earth would you hire a guy that's been fired essentially back-to-back seasons for an offense that really fucking struggled last year? Not to mention Kellen Moore is a passing game guy, and Jalen Hurts, as you know, this is a fact, can't throw the fucking ball. So why the fuck would you hire Kellen Moore?
I have zero explanation for it. I really don't know. When I saw it, I was just kind of like, the guy who writes Eagles blogs at Barstool was like, I don't know exactly what he said, but he was not happy with the hire. Like, so we're hiring the cowboy, a dirty table scraps now. He wasn't good there. He wasn't good in LA. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I don't know. That's a classic Well, we don't really have anybody right now, and he's been around the block a few times. Let's just hire him. Well, only time will tell how it goes, but I don't think it's going to go great. So.
I love the hire because as a Cowboys fan.
Yep.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the NBA. We saw
my favorite subject.
Your favorite subject. I gotta
love the association.
I did pick Clippers to win the championship. The first.
They're well on their way, buddy.
They look. How good do they look?
But you know why they're going to win the championship? Because your dad's boy, the bearded monster, is in L.A. And that's what put them over the top. If they didn't have the bearded monster, that team wouldn't know how to win. He's a winner through and through. I'm just saying that because your dad's not here.
Bearded monster.
It's like the bearded monster and the Jaguars have to defend it. I don't want to die on the Jaguars hill or the bearded monster hill, so I need him here for these arguments.
Yeah. When he's not here and behind closed doors, what do I hear? Oh, look, I'm not really a Jaguars fan. Oh, no, they didn't make the playoffs. I don't actually believe in them.
No.
I don't actually believe in them.
I believe they were going to – no. I did believe they were going to make the playoffs. I will say I was dead wrong about that. I mean, losing 5 out of 6 games is I don't know what you can say about that except they just fucking suck. But
They do suck.
Well, they should have managed to win that division. Did I tell you this kid? I forget who it is. It's a kid that does like card breaking stuff. You know, they have those companies that like you buy a spot and they live broadcast them going through the cards.
Yeah.
And I forget who he works for, but he had a ticket. He posted. I swear to God, it was like week 10, and he put $25,000 on the Jags to win the division at like minus 120, like week 1, and posted a picture of it and goes, well, that was free money. I mean, like, legitimately, they were up 4 or 5 games. Like, it was something absurd. And then he lost, and it was like, well, ouch. I guess I learned my lesson about that.
Dude, that's actually brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I don't know why.
Well, that was free money.
I just don't know why anybody, unless you just have a really like sure thing, like a good bet, why anybody would bet a minus money NFL division winner unless it's like Mahomes. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I guess they just thought, and I mean, like anybody just looking at it, it's like no one thought everybody thought Texas would obviously take big steps forward, not near this good.
Yeah.
Colts were, I don't know what their team total was, maybe like
not high.
Yeah, not high. And then you have
6,
obviously the underachieving, worthless Tennessee Titans in the division.
And they actually had a higher win total than the Texans and the Colts, I would assume.
Yeah, I think they were picked second in the division. So I mean, it was just probably thought it was going to go smoothly, and it was going smoothly for about 10 weeks until it wasn't. So.
Dude, I will say, back on the NBA, the Clippers,
they're just dismantling people.
Dude,
right?
yes, the Celtics were 20-1 at home, and I was like scrolling through scores the other day, and I'm like, holy fuck, the Clippers are up by 36 at Boston right now. I'm like, okay, Tatum and Jaylen Brown must have been out. Nope. I literally clicked it. Everybody played. They ended up beating them by 20, but it was like, I mean, they're absolutely the best team in the league right now, far and away, not close. We're going to have to find a way to make NBA interesting on here as we are ramping down football.
Our San Antonio Spurs have won 2 in a row, baby.
Hey, we're
going for 3.
They are going for 3, and they play the Wizards tonight. It's a legitimate shot,
I mean,
baby.
if we ever had a chance to win 3 games in a row, it's right here.
Well, their updated win total is 17.5, so they got to go 8-28 in the season to go over that win total. They've shown some signs of life. Dude, if Wemby doesn't win, I know we talked with Vex on the podcast last week, and we talked about how Wemby versus Chet. If it's not, it's just far and away over to me at this point. What the fuck? How is this not a -4 500 on Wemby to win? It's not even remotely close. It really isn't.
Yeah, no, he's going to end up winning Rookie of the Year. Like I said, it's detrimental to the league for him not to win Rookie of the Year. Why would you make a fake rookie, Chet Holmgren, who's third fiddle on a good team, Rookie of the Year over a year, once-in-a-generation player? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So Wemby's going to win Rookie of the Year.
I hope
unless something weird happens. But, I mean, he's averaging now over 20. It's like 20.5 and 10 boards a game. Probably, 3.5? I mean, it seems like he gets at least 3 blocks a game.
Yeah, he's averaging like 2. He leads the league in blocks. I think it's 2.8. They beat the T-Wolves the other night. You went to the game. It was the T-Wolves were number 1 in the West going into that game. Actually,
Spurs were down 10-12 at half, and you're like, well, this isn't going to go good. And then they just hung around in the third to get to the 10, and then went on like a 7-0 run, I think, to start the fourth. And it was a fun game.
Was there
I haven't been to a Spurs game in a long time.
Pretty
Dude, it was. They were in an empty seat. And
really?
At least down low, they were in an empty seat. Even up top, it seemed like almost all of it was pretty filled up. And that's with the a lot of those people that have good tickets there, whatever, go to our rodeo people.
Yeah.
And that's with the rodeo cook-off going outside. So, I mean, I know they were missing some people inside because of that. But, yeah, no, it was a full house. And keep in mind, Friday, Saturday games, obviously. Now, what does it look like in there? Like, on a Monday night against the Wizards? Probably not like that, right? Yeah. But, I mean, I think they
Are we at home tonight? Or is it? Okay.
I think we get – and then, I think we probably play another 2 games at home, and then we, rodeo road trip for a month. So,
yeah. I mean, I want to. It's hard for me, and I know we're gonna have to talk about it, but it's hard for me to get too into the NBA when the Spurs aren't good because it's just so boring during the regular season. It seems that nobody cares that much, and until we kind of get like towards the end stretch, last 20 games where people are fighting for playoff position, and it becomes real. And because of that, I want to mention one last thing about the NBA, which is. It just seems to me that it's boring because, and you can tell me whether you agree with this, the lack of defense being played is just so it's so difficult to watch. Like, okay, back in the day, like when somebody scored 50, that was a big deal. Even with the 3-point line, like back like in the 2000s, right? Like 2000, 2009, big deal to score 50 points.
Yep.
Like maybe a couple times a season it happened, if that. 60 was almost unheard of, right? Like when Kobe dropped 82, it was just the most incredible thing ever. I think it's been like 4 times in the last 2 seasons we've had people drop 70. And it just, to me, the fact that we don't celebrate that just shows that it's not the same as dropping 82 when Kobe did it. It's not the same as those things. It's just like... It just feels like it's a video game almost. I don't know how to describe it. It's so hard to watch. That's why that's why the ratings have gone down. That's why they tried the fucking stupid in-season tournament. They're trying to copy like the FA Cup or whatever over in England or in Europe. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of different ones. But yeah, in-season tournaments.
Because they just want viewership and nobody's watching this shit. And I don't blame them. It's boring. And so Luka scored 72 the other night, and it's like
the one thing that was impressive about that is not that he scored 72, is like how efficient it was. I think he shot like
24 for 32 or something. Yeah. And he was like 8 of 13 from 3.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like looking, I was like, how many times did he shoot? And I was like, oh, he shot over 70%. That's absurd.
And he only went to the free throw line 16 times, which is a lot, but compared to like you normally see
that's normal in the NBA these
right,
days.
When you see somebody score, 70, you assume like 27 free throws.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
James Harden would shoot 42 free throws,
so fucking annoying,
60 points. Bearded monster.
Bearded monster's a bum. All right, let's. College basketball is ramping up a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about it. I want to go through some of these teams and give me your thoughts. Like, okay, let's start with UConn. Who did they beat by 40 yesterday? Who was that?
I think it was Xavier.
I thought it was Xavier too. But I said it all year. I think they're the best team again. You picked them to win the national title. It was Xavier. 99-56, I think, was the final score. Is that right? Yeah. Anyway, they've looked like the most dominant team in basketball again. I think they have a really good shot to go back to the Final Four. It's hard to win back-to-back titles. This is the best defending national champion I've seen since the Florida Gators did it. So if anybody could do it, it'd be this group. Dan Hurley has that whole system just running like a machine. They run really good offense. They defend. They have like a system of how they recruit. Like they get a couple really big, 7-footers. They get a really good point guard, and they have some wings who can score the ball. And that seems to fit when they're healthy. I don't know who beats them.
Yeah, I think eye test wise, like I always tell you, nothing X's and O's basketball wise, but eye test, UConn's looked like the best team for me. Like since I've been watching since the beginning of the season. Purdue's obviously looked good at times. You just can't trust Purdue in the tournament. They just lose. They figure out a way to lose. So, and I really don't even think Matt Painter's a bad coach, actually. I mean, I think like you said, the offensive sets and stuff in Vexler, because you guys know more about that than me, they run an offense. I mean,
they do run an offense.
It looks good. So, it's weird that, they get in, somehow lose to Fairleigh Dickinson. But, I don't know. I think UConn's got the best chance of repeating, like you said, for the first time since the Gators. And I don't remember any team looking necessarily this good back-to-back years. So, and Duke doesn't look very good. Like your Blue Bloods, Kansas has struggled at times. You know, the Big 12 basketball season is just a gauntlet, though. I mean, that's how it always is. It's like
it's the old Big East.
Yeah, it's tough. So it'll be interesting. You know, we're getting into the dog days of conference play here. Everybody's 2 games a week, and like I said, Big 12 just beating up on each other. I was happy to see Texas Tech beat Oklahoma on the road by 1.
That was a big win for them.
Texas killed Oklahoma on the road, right?
They
then
did.
Went to BYU and got smoked.
They did. I think Tech is in first place in the Big 12 now, I believe, because Kansas State was 4-1. They've lost back-to-back games in the Big 12. The one team that I've been surprised by, North Carolina. They're third. They continue to win on the road.
They've been killing everybody.
To my dismay, cover numbers. I don't understand how they continue to do it.
Are they still undefeated in ACC?
Yeah. And shout out to my boy Zayden High, who's over there. I coach Zayden High School. He's playing at UNC right now.
Nice.
And I talked to him the other day, and I think I'm going to get him on the podcast after the season. I guess freshmen can't do media, so I asked him for after the season. He said we'd talk about it, so hopefully he'll come on here with us. But yeah, North Carolina's looked really good. I don't know if that's because the ACC is just down, and it is. The ACC is horrible this year.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's just there's nobody good in the ACC. Essentially, you look at it like, okay, we watched Virginia and Florida State play. We don't think either of them are very good. They're 3rd and 4th behind Duke and North Carolina.
Yeah.
So it's just a very down conference. Miami's down. Syracuse is down. Virginia Tech is down from what they normally are. NC State's okay. Clemson looked good in the beginning of the season. They're 3 and 5 in the ACC play. So it's just the bottom of it's horrific. Boston College, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Louisville, all bad. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fun tournament this year for sure. Houston had a nice little win the other day. They play Texas tonight in Austin.
I think Houston, it's going to be the best. I mean, obviously they're going to have more losses, but it's going to be the best thing for them joining the Big 12. Is you're just
100%.
You're just battle tested. You're not like, like they, Gonzaga is in the West Coast Conference where, you just usually steamroll them besides St. Mary's. And then with them in the Conference USA, Memphis kind of came on, or the American, wherever they were in before this. Memphis was okay, but everybody else is not very good.
Yeah.
So.
I
guess no. FAU is Conference USA. They're
FSU's Conference USA.
Yeah.
They barely pulled out that win yesterday. Dude, did you know McNeese State got a vote for top 25 this week? They're 18-2.
Cowboys are back, baby.
Will
Wade.
How about that? I mean, that team, unless they blow it in their conference tournament, they're probably going to the NCAA tournament. They might even get in that large bid.
I told you they went I went to Michigan. Not that Michigan's great, but they beat the hell out of them at Michigan.
Yeah, that's impressive.
They have some good wins.
Did New Mexico win last night? I think they did.
No idea.
I would assume they did. They won by 34.
Man, New Mexico's a weird team.
They're really weird, but
I wonder how they're. I mean, if they got to play the tournament
State,
at home,
we thought was really good too with their little point guard Isaiah Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
They've been struggling. They lost in overtime to Wyoming last week. On Saturday, they've lost, I believe, 4 of their last 6. Lost to Utah State, Boise State, Nevada, and Wyoming, all on the road. But I mean, if you want an at-large bid, you need to turn it around. They're 15-5, and like that conference is actually pretty good, man. I will say the Mountain West, maybe they just beat each other up, but like they all had outstanding records coming into conference play. Like most of their losses are coming.
Yeah, the Mountain West is good this year. It's funny though because it's. You always expect San Diego State to be at the top, and they're kind of like, obviously, they went to the national championship game last year, which is just nuts, but they're a little bit down this year compared to usual. But Boise State's solid, Nevada's a good team, Colorado State's a good team, and then Utah State's just finds a way to win these crazy fucking games.
Dude,
they won that game at UNLV when they were down 4 and got a 5-point play to win the game. That was one of the crazier things.
They should have lost that game. They should have lost to Boise State. I had Boise State in that one. That the officials fucked up and didn't reset the shot clock, or they would have been a foul situation down 3 with 33 seconds to go.
Wow.
And they fucking reset it to 20, got to play it out, and tied it at the buzzer and won in overtime. It was bullshit.
Number 25, New Mexico. Yeah, they won by, like you said, over 40, but. Weirdly enough, they had lost 9 games in a row to Nevada before that.
Had they really?
Never guess. Yeah, it says snap 9-game losing streak.
Well, they went on that skid last year, which was the first year they've been good in a while, and at the end of the year they went on a bad skid. So that makes sense. Like back when they were playing against what's Musselman when he was at Nevada, they used to dominate. Remember that game?
Man.
It was the all-time bad beat, dude. Wasn't that New Mexico versus Nevada where the kid banks it in?
Yeah, Nevada won.
All-time bad beat.
The pit.
Yeah, all-time bad beat at the pit.
It's on the intro of. It's on the
SVP.
intro of SVP.
He banked it in.
Yeah.
We went to the pit together.
Yeah.
My senior year, you were already out of high school and went and watched 4 NCAA tournaments. Actually, we left the last game because we were burnt. We had flown. We left at 5 in the fucking morning to go to these games, which was awesome. But we flew in.
Who did we see play? We saw.
I remember we saw
Harvard.
Montana played Wisconsin.
Did we see Vanderbilt play somebody? I swear we did. I thought they were there.
The
Jackrabbits were there. San Diego State was there playing somebody.
Was San Diego State there?
No, South Dakota State.
South Dakota State.
Jackrabbits.
I know Montana was there. Oh man,
maybe that's who I'm thinking.
No, they were playing.
We saw Harvard play somebody.
The Pitt NCAA tournament. I'm trying to look it up real quick. I know we're probably pushing a little bit of time here, but anyway, yeah, that was a fun tournament. We saw the last game. I know UNLV played in that last game because we went back to the hotel. And I was watching it on my phone, but I was so burnt because we literally, I remember you picked me up at 4 a.m. We flew straight to Albuquerque for the day, watched all the games all day long, and then stayed the night and flew back in the morning. And we got stuck in Love Field, and I had to get on I didn't want to go, but y'all were like, well, we're not going by ourselves, so you go. And so I got on the plane. I don't know how much longer y'all were stuck there. We were there for multiple hours. Before that.
Yeah, that's what people don't realize. We're not rich. That was standby. That's why.
We're flying buddy passes, all right?
Yeah,
we're flying Southwest buddy passes,
that's right. We finally made it.
If you guys if we can get enough subscribers, maybe we'll actually get to get a regular coach next time. Southwest. Yeah. We'll make business class where we get to pick our seats.
That's right.
All right. Quick last few things. I want to talk Australian Open. It just finished up, first major tennis tournament of the year. Jannik Sinner wins his first major title. I stayed up the whole night to watch this fucking thing.
Lunatic.
It was at 2:30, and
I texted him at 7 in the morning, and I go, "Wait a second, did you ever go to sleep?" He goes, "No, I was watching the whole thing." I was like, "You're nuts, dude."
I think I sent you 4 texts throughout this.
Yeah, I was like, "Huh?"
And I was about to.
And they're all gapped out by 2 hours. I'm like, "What the hell is he still doing up?"
I figured you had it on Do Not Disturb.
Oh yeah, but I do every night.
Yeah, I figured that, but I was thinking I typed out a text at the end. And it was 4:30, and I was gonna say, I'm fully aware that you're not awake and you're gonna read all these when you wake up, but I need to actually say something about this match to somebody, so I'm not just sitting here watching this by myself thinking. But it was a fucking outstanding match. Obviously, Medvedev was up 2-0. It was 4-4, I believe, and it looked like he might actually. I think at one point it was 30-all, and he was 6 points away. If he was able to steal that game, he serves it out, probably wins, and Jannik finds a way to win that game, get a break. Go to the fourth set, does the exact same thing in the fourth set, and then Medvedev kind of ran out of gas late. But it was a fun tournament to watch. I know you're a big tennis guy. Do you think Jannik Sinner, is he going to continue to win a bunch of majors?
Yeah, he'll probably win another major this year, honestly.
That's crazy.
The level of his game is just above everyone. I mean, I could see. I mean, I think Djokovic will get one. I think Carlos will probably get one.
Yeah.
But I think Sinner could definitely end up winning either Wimbledon or the U.S. Open. His game's not. I mean, he's a good clay court player. He's not as good as Carlos on clay. But yeah, he could definitely get another one, man. His game's big. He's only 22 years old. Medvedev, like you said, ran out of gas. Court time was crazy. But Medvedev would even tell you this. I mean, Sinner's a better overall player. Medvedev is just fantastic at making you play. The guy never misses a backhand. He's just a brick wall back there. And even Kyrgios had touched on it. I think he was tweeting about it. It was Medvedev was a shitty junior because he didn't build into that frame where he would just, could get everything back, and he wasn't that tall. He's got a decent enough serve now. He struggles at the net. He hits a lot of volleys into the net. But yeah, he's really, really tough from the back of the court on a standard speed hard court. So anyway, but I was glad Sinner won. I didn't want to see Medvedev win.
I didn't either. I was hoping Sinner would win. It felt like he was kind of nervous in that first start of the match, and Medvedev made some really good he was much. Normally he stands way far back on the return. He was much closer because the last couple times he had played Sinner kind of dominated him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome to see. Some of the. It feels like for a long time in tennis, that the big three, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, one of them always tends to get there, and they never lose. They always won. If they don't play each other, the other person rarely wins. I know Medvedev got one title, in I think 2021 U.S. Open. He beat, was it Nadal or Djokovic? He beat Djokovic in the final one time. But for the most part, it's just we don't see a lot of new guys. It's nice to see. We saw Alcaraz, who looked like a dominant player, get beat by Sasha Zverev. We got Djokovic going down to center. So it was good to see some new faces get to a final. Like, I liked seeing Medvedev in center as opposed to fucking Djokovic and some
somebody.
other guy.
That's what it typically is. Djokovic, somebody.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's like, 30 years old now, and it's like, for as long as I remember tennis, it was either Djokovic, Nadal, or Federer. And Djokovic's the only guy still doing it. But yeah, it's like
he's younger than,
I think he's 4 years younger than them.
And that actually really benefits him. If he was the same age as the other ones, I don't think he actually has the all-time record. I think
you're probably right.
He's very fucking beneficial that he was in that spot. Anyway, one last, Sasha Zverev, man, blowing the 2-setter against Medvedev. He was up 2 sets. That was brutal. He just cannot get out of his own way. That's what he does.
Yeah, you need to watch the episode of Breakpoint, the new season that came out. They talk about how it's been going on since juniors. This is like what they do. And Medvedev always fucks with Zverev. And so they show like Zverev's dominating the match they're playing in Monaco, and the Masters in Monaco. And Zverev breaks to go up 5-4 to serve out the set, and Medvedev just walks past the net and takes the steak out of it.
My mom watched it and was telling me about it.
Comes out, and then he goes, I need to take a bathroom break. Or so, no, he does that, and Zverev like loses his mind. Then Zverev breaks him again in the third and gets to serve for it, and Medvedev takes a bathroom break and like makes him wait, and then he comes back out and he blows it again. He just knows how to do little things to get under Zverev's skin. And Medvedev will tell you, he's like, yeah, man, I'm a win at all costs kind of guy. Like, he's like, I do anything I can. He goes, sometimes you need to bend the rules, but I think outside of the tennis court, people like him. He just plays into the curious villain role.
Yeah.
Where he does all kinds of stupid shit and loves how the fans hate him. I mean, he loves that. He loves being the WWE the heel out there.
You see Kyrgios doing the commentary at all? That was actually kind of funny.
Yeah. He did a good job.
He did a good job for not ever doing it before. Is he going to come back?
Yeah, he'll make one more comeback, play for like a year and a half, and quit.
If he was like a guy who like actually like really practiced and tried hard, would he have won majors?
Yeah,
he was that talented, right?
5 of them.
He's that talented. He's just a head case.
If he actually like put in an effort, he doesn't put in an effort.
I know.
By his own admission, he doesn't like tennis.
I know.
He's like Nikola Jokic, where he's like, I guess most people don't like their jobs, so I guess it's natural. You're not happy to win the championship. I mean, yes, it's good accomplishment, but I want to go home.
We go home. We go home now.
I do not want to go to the parade.
Wait, when is parade? Oh no, I can't do that. Yeah,
no parade.
Dude, last thing on tennis, real quick. I was watching something. I didn't realize that Tispidis, is that how you say it?
Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Tsitsipas. Dude, apparently he's like a crazy asshole. Like,
yeah, no, he's kind of nuts.
He's like crazy, like dickhead, and like won't give anybody credit after they beat him, and like just not a good dude is what I was watching something on.
Yeah,
maybe they pull out
most people don't like him.
Yeah, he seems.
They
like
just think he's
dickhead.
weird.
Yeah. Anyway, Longhorns play tonight. They play Houston. Hopefully they can get it done, but they have not looked good.
Yeah.
I know they after we talked about them, they did pull a nice upset, like you said, over Oklahoma, but they got beat last week. Who did they lose to by double digits? It was BYU at BYU. I mean, it's not a horrible loss, but
I mean, they won at Oklahoma. So if you can split 2 road games, that's kind of best case scenario in the Big 12, I guess.
Going into that, they beat Baylor at home and then beat Oklahoma on the road. But it's weird. Going into that Oklahoma game, somebody had them, whoever does bracketology had them in the next 4 out, which is kind of interesting in the Big 12. Like, you're in the Big 12. You're relatively. They haven't been good.
Is this Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to get into the tournament.
I think they are, especially after beating Oklahoma now. So you have wins over Baylor, Oklahoma.
Joe Lenardi's an idiot.
Yeah, there's no way.
If they stick it, even if they're like a game below and win a game, like they're going to get in. The Big 12 is just loaded, dude.
They're 14-6. They're 14-6. They're 3-4 in the conference. Which, by the way, a lot of BYU and Oklahoma are 3-4 in the conference, and they're both ranked. Their losses are to UConn, Marquette, BYU, and then they have at West Virginia was a bad one, and versus Central Florida was the worst one because it was at home and they blew the lead.
That one hurts. But
so those two, but they lost to Tech at home too. That's weird. They've won 2 road games and lost 2 home games. Anyway, they beat Cincinnati on the road by 1. They could have lost that one. All right, I think we're about to get out of here.
We'll do a Super Bowl preview and get Big Dog in here for all his. He's got at least a couple weeks it takes to come back in.
And look, we got to do this. When we got Super Bowl coming up, we're going to be done with football, and we are going to have to talk about NBA and college basketball every week in here. So we're going to have more time because it's going to be tough to do that. Maybe we'll do a show. Maybe sometimes we skip a week. So we've got to go do some damn skits. We got to get my dad kicking field goals out there. We got to get Big Dog throwing footballs and hitting golf balls. We got to get some entertainment for the people.
I don't want to see him try to kick a football.
I do. 100% I do. Are you kidding me? Are you shitting me?
You know he's going to tear his Achilles again or something, dude.
Again, he never tore it in the first place. Why do you give him credit for that?
He's a fucking warrior.
He never got struck by lightning.
He played through it.
He never tore his Achilles. He makes shit up. All right? None of that shit happened. Okay?
It's bullshit. Don't believe it.
We got to get that stuff done, though. Please like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our content. We are going to have me and Bailey our producer been working on a plan. We've got a nice little plan. We're going to start increasing our content soon and having a couple other podcasts on the side, maybe a college basketball one, sports betting one. So please subscribe, hit that like button, comment, all that stuff. When we hit 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away another jersey, and hopefully we can have we're working on some sponsors right now. So hopefully we'll have some sponsors soon. We got a good guest. Last thing, we got a good guest coming on Monday, virtually. We have Jonathan Dunn. He plays basketball in Germany. Kid I coached when he was younger, so we'll have him on virtually for a part of the episode next week. And hopefully it's Big Dog's return to the show after a 21-day hiatus.
Trust me, he's coming on fucking next week.
I'm shocked he didn't come today.
I'll make him come on.
So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And like Turner said a while ago, whether anybody watched or not, we're just going to keep doing it until people do. And hopefully we can turn this into something pretty big. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the week, and we'll see you guys next time.